Today we gonna be predicting the Champions League. We got the semifinals, man. We're one round away from knowing who's gonna be in the final and seeing who is gonna win this Champions League. It's exciting. You know, one thing that's really exciting about this Champions League is that the teams that are there are different than what have been there the past few years, except for Inter. Inter's been to this stage. A few years ago, they went to the final, right? So let's jump first to the Barcelona-Inter Milan game, because I know a lot of people are gonna be very interested about this game. Now, I said in the last round that a better matchup for Barcelona would be Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich, in my opinion, will open up and allow Barcelona to really do what they do. If a team opens up against Barcelona, Barcelona is going to go absolutely crazy against them, right? That's when you're going to see the best of Lamine Yamal, the best of Rafinha, the best of all that. When they play more of a defensive team, it's a little bit harder because there's less space, and Inter's a very good team at being very, very defensive and really, really slowing down the tempo of a game. With that being said, I want to go ahead and give you guys something real quick. Going back to like April 2nd, Inter Milan and AC Milan played, they tied 1-1. Parma and Inter played, they tied 2-2. Inter then beat Bayern, and they also won a game in the Serie A. But since then, they've tied to Bayern. They lost 1-0. They lost to AC Milan 3-0, losing the semifinals of the Cup. And then they lost to Roma 1-0 yesterday. And now they're going to play Barca. And from what I've seen, they have a few injuries, few players are missing. That's the downside to Inter. What's the downside of Barca? Honestly, two things. One, Lewandowski's been missing. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure. I think he's coming back for this game, for these games. Not 100% sure. Maybe he'll be back for the second leg. The second thing, they went 120 minutes against Real Madrid in a very, very difficult game. I do think that will affect the first game, the first Barca-Inter game that happens on Wednesday. But then over the two legs, I think Barca will be fine in the second game, right? I think their legs are going to have to be a little bit affected by that Inter game, by that Real Madrid game. With that being said, I think Barcelona are the favorites. I think Inter, going into it, looking at it, hindsight, I go, okay, yeah, if there's a team that can knock out Barcelona, I think it's Inter because their defensive strategy, defensive tactics. But I just don't know with the players they have missing, with the results they've been on. I don't know if they just started fully focusing on the Champions League or not, but I just see Barcelona win this. I think Barcelona's confidence has gone to the moon. Had they lost that Madrid game, maybe their confidence gets hit a little bit, but I just don't see how you'd rip the confidence from Lamine Yamal, from Rafinha, from these players that have just been absolutely cooking over the last few weeks, over the last few months. And I think Barca wins this, man. I don't see Inter being able to pull it off. I still think it's going to be the most difficult of all the teams left, or between Bayern and Inter. I do think Inter was going to be the more difficult for Barcelona. But I really, truly, deep down inside, think that they'll be able to do just enough to get by this team. They're going to have to be very careful with Martinez on the counter and stuff like that. But with that being said, I just think Barcelona's too strong this year to be stopped. So I think Barcelona's going to win this one. We move on to the Arsenal game versus PSG. This is a very hard one to decide. I think Arsenal has been a very strong team over the last few years. But I think what PSG is doing is very impressive. And that's why I don't know how to call this game. I think the final, for me, has a very big chance of being PSG versus Barcelona. That's like, it's the one I want to say, but I have a really hard time not backing Arsenal after what they did to Real Madrid. The problem is, and this is why I want people to hear me out for a second. The reason I'm not quickly jumping to Arsenal because of what they did to Real Madrid is because Real Madrid stinks. Like Real Madrid, when you think of Real Madrid, you think of like this team that can't be knocked out of the Champions League. This year, they're not good. They're just not good. Barcelona's been humiliating them every single game that they play. They've been losing games and tying games in La Liga that they shouldn't. Their defense has been in shambles all year. We know Madrid is not the team that we thought they were going to be going into the season, right? So with that being said, was Arsenal's performance against Real Madrid outstanding, or did Arsenal just match up against a really poor Real Madrid? That's the thing that really has to be asked here, because when you look at Real Madrid versus City, we go, Man, Real Madrid knocked out City though. Okay. Was Real Madrid really good against Man City, or did they catch a very, very vulnerable, a very, very poor City that we haven't seen in many years? My answer to you is we saw a really bad Man City, and Real Madrid caught them at the perfect time and were able to knock them out, right? Because City was just in a bad place. Is that the same thing that happened with Arsenal? Did Arsenal catch a Madrid in a really, really bad place? Because this PSG team is going to press Arsenal the way Madrid didn't press. This PSG team is going to try to keep the ball the way Madrid didn't try to keep the ball. This PSG team is coming in with some Barcelona type tactics with Luis Enrique. It's the duel of the Spanish managers, yo. Arteta v Luis Enrique. I think it's going to be fireworks. I'm excited for this game, but I don't think that people should write off PSG. What Dembele is doing at PSG this season's impressive. Vitinha, João Neves, what these guys are doing, they're having fantastic seasons. So I don't think that people should just write off PSG. I really, really, truly believe that this game, in my opinion, is 50-50. I truly don't know how to call this game. The winning possibilities right now, or if you look it up on Google, Arsenal is 45%, PSG is 28%, and there's a 27% chance of a draw. When you look at the Inter-Barcelona one, Barcelona's 59 favorites and Inter is 19% favorites. I think the PSG game is much closer than they're giving here. 45% to Arsenal and 28% to PSG. I get it. I understand it. I get where people are coming from and where these odds. But I think people need to understand that PSG's been able to rest players. PSG's been able to focus on this game for the last 2-3 weeks or whatever, bro. Like they really, after they got through their round, they've been able all focus on Arsenal. The league's been done. They ain't got to worry about that. They've been focusing on Arsenal for a while now. And I think it's possible. I do. I think it's possible, man, for PSG. I don't think that anyone should overlook PSG because just like what Barcelona is doing, PSG's doing. PSG's a well-oiled machine. Now, with that being said, Arsenal is very good defensively. Very good. And they are very good on set pieces off of corners. So I truly don't know how to call this game. I don't. But I'm going to go with the two teams that I've been saying are like the better teams in Europe this year and who I've been kind of backing. So I'm going to go with PSG and Barcelona making the final. Obviously, we'll discuss it more after the first round. It's very hard to make predictions. Arsenal fans, don't get mad at me. Inter fans, don't get mad at me. It's just me going based off of PSG has been, in my opinion, a really, really well-oiled machine. A really, really good team. And the only reason we're not talking about them is because they win Liga. I mean, the French league, Liga, so much. They win it so much that's not impressive anymore. It's just not impressive. But also, what's not impressive to me, Arsenal fans, please don't get mad at me. How did a new manager, a new system, a new style come in? And the year that City is just bad, Arsenal still don't win the league. I don't get it. Arsenal have been fighting with City for the league for a few years now. And the one year where City falls off, Arsenal still can't do it. And that's the only reason I have a hard time backing this club. Look, I hope Arteta goes on and wins something massive for them. The fans deserve it. But the truth is, I would be upset as an Arsenal fan to see a new manager step in with Liverpool after Klopp was there for so many years and come in and win the Premier League just like that. The year that City falls off and Arsenal's not the team doing it. That's the only reason I'm kind of like iffy about it, man. I just don't know if I could back them yet because Arteta needs to show me that he can clutch up. Arteta needs to show me that he can be a great manager and these players could be great players in times that it matters. That's what I need. That's what I need. And this is the game to prove it to me. So right now I'm taking PSG and Barcelona, but like I said, man, this is easily the hardest semifinals that I've had to call in a long time because I think it's very, very close games. Very, very close games. Anyways, love you guys. Thanks for watching. That's my predictions. I'll catch you next time.